Here we have a quote from Saint Hippolytus of Rome in the 2nd century. Quote, "When the teacher finishes his instruction, the catechumens shall pray by themselves apart from the believers, and all women, whether believers or catechumens, shall stand for their prayers by themselves in a separate part of the church. And when the catechumens finish their prayers, they must not give the kiss of peace, for their kiss is not yet pure. Only believers shall salute one another, but men with men and women with women. A man shall not salute a woman. And let all the women have their heads covered with an opaque cloth, not with a veil of thin linen, for this is not a true covering." End quote. If a woman's veil is so thin that you can see all of her hair through it, obviously that's partially defeating the purpose of why it's being worn in the first place. Here we have a quote from Saint Cyril of Alexandria in the 5th century. Quote, "The angels find it extremely hard to bear if this law, that women cover their heads, is disregarded." End quote. Again, centuries later now, still being associated with the presence of angels. Saint Basil the Great. Quote, "No man ought to pray or prophesy with his head covered, and no woman with uncovered head." End quote. Also Saint Basil the Great. Quote, "Women who forget the fear of God and scorn the everlasting fire, on that day when they were supposed to be sitting in their homes in remembrance of the resurrection, reflecting on that day when the heavens will be opened and the judge will appear to us out of the heavens, as well as the trumpets of God and the resurrection of the dead, and the just judgment, and the repayment to each according to his deeds. Instead of pondering these things in their mind, purifying their hearts of wicked thoughts, washing away their past sins with tears, and preparing themselves to meet Christ on that great day of his appearing. Instead of doing these things, they shook off their yoke of slavery to Christ, ripped the veils of modesty from their heads, despised God, despised his angels, acted shamelessly at the sight of every male, tousling their hair, dragging their garments in trains, and at the same time tinkling with their feet." End quote. Obviously here he is clearly associating the removal of their veils with the total rejection of God's law and authority.